depressing an experience as I've ever had going to movies.
Now, I know some people found this movie fun, but me, I'd rather spend 2 hours having root canal work done.
It's a terrible film from beginning to end.
You know the theory of reincarnation, where the dues we pay in this lifetime may get to collect in another lifetime? For having seen this movie, I want months and months and months in a beautiful valley.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, we give it a 3.
Well, maybe it wasn't that good. Let's give it a 1.
Welcome to Bombs Away, a bad movie comedy podcast. My name is Tyler Rowe, and joining me here in the cyber studio, as always, is
Peyton Bieber
and Jarrett Seifert.
All right, no witty.
No, yeah,
name
like
today.
Like your single-celled
I'm not giving
organism,
this
Jarrett
movie
Seifert.
anything.
Oh God,
I've evolved past that.
Oh, there we go. We're starting out strong with Jarrett's feelings for this film. Yes, welcome back, episode 2. We're so excited. We hope you guys enjoyed the previous episode with Scooby-Doo. I know we had a lot of fun recording it, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to it. So let's get right into it. Like I said in Scooby-Doo, to start out and reintroduce people to the show and to the people who are here with you talking about movies, we decided let's have everyone select a movie that they love that is probably bad. So, Mr. Peyton Bieber, go ahead and explain to us why we watched this film.
All right, so we're Evolution. All right, came out in 2001. David Duchovny, Orlando Jones, Julianne Moore. It's Sean William Scott, and I honestly don't remember watching this for the first time, but I remember seeing it throughout the past years and just enjoying it every single time it's on TV. I remember this one time I was at a dance and they're like projecting it onto the, I don't know, like the white wall or whatever.
What?
And I was
like
just
a dance?
Yeah, at a dance.
At a school dance?
It wasn't a school dance. Well, yeah, it wasn't really a school. It's called TRL, like Teen Roseville Live.
Oh, it's one of those like teen center dances.
TRL?
Yeah.
Wasn't that MTV?
You were on TRL?
It was. And they were just projecting it up there. And I remember that all around me, they were just dancing while I was just looking up at the movie. And in my head, there was no sound because there were, the music was pumping. And I could hear every line, everything just going on. And I just remember cracking up. And it's just such a fun movie. I love it.
There's a few gay bars that I've gone to where I've done that, and they'll like be showing a movie, and I'm like, "Nah, we don't need to dance right now. It's a good scene."
Yeah,
that's exactly how I felt.
I've seen this gay porno before.
Look at how he takes it.
Oh my God, but that is the weirdest like teen center dance story I've ever heard in my life.
It was, but I mean, I just love this movie. It's so fun. It's not like a super good movie, but it's not like super bad. It's just enjoyable and. It's enjoyable.
It's not super bad because that was a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Bam, was. Burn.
But like,
my only memory from like teen center dances is I went to one and you could request songs to the DJ, and I requested a song, and he told me I don't take song requests from people who don't dance, and that really just stuck with me for the rest of my life. And that was straight up like,
and he hasn't stopped dancing yet.
That was that's like the opening sequence of Footloose.
Me in like a dungeon, just like. But yes, Evolution, as Peyton said, 2001, with a budget of $80 million. Don't know where that budget went.
Definitely not in the CGI.
Not in the CGI. Directed by Ivan Reitman, who, if that name sounds familiar to you, was also the director of Ghostbusters, and it doesn't really show at all that he's ever directed anything prior to this film, because what a weird director to have make this movie that really has no like hallmarks of who he is.
He did Ghostbusters 2.
He did Ghostbusters 2 as well, yes.
And I was looking at it, 7 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford. And that one woman, I can't remember her name of. They're like stranded on an island or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Harrison Ford crashes a plane, surprisingly.
Wow, that's like a real life thing for him there. And like Kindergarten Cop. Oh my God, really a movie that we need to do on this, which is Junior, which is Yeah, if you guys don't
I
know,
know that
Arnold
one.
Schwarzenegger gets pregnant in that movie.
Oh, that with Danny
With
DeVito?
yes, yes. So, Ivan Reitman has been hitting absolute, grand slams his entire career in Hollywood, apparently. But yeah, like Peyton said, also starring David Duchovny, fresh off of still working on X-Files, Julianne Moore, Orlando Jones, and Sean William Scott, better known as, you either know him as Stifler or you know him as Country Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So with an all-star cast like that, you would really expect this movie to be carried by the
A
performances.
some star cast.
That's a pretty headliners right
Julianne
there.
Moore's
Sean William
there.
Scott, Julianne Moore, David
What about
Duchovny.
David Duchovny? He did porn. Come on.
Yeah,
He did?
Californication.
Do you not know that he did? Okay, so back when they had Skinamax or
But like
whatever,
actual porn?
it was like softcore. He was
Oh.
on, I think it's called Red Shoe Diaries, and it was like softcore porn, and I think he really was just acting in it, but it
So
was
no
it was
dick.
very like female centric. Like, yeah, I'm David Duchovny.
I'm not gonna watch something with no
What
dick.
was this during X-Files or before?
Probably
I think it's
before.
like adjacent. I think it's like
Oh.
happening simultaneously. I can't remember. I don't know. I honestly think it was just like, yeah, open that file for me. I don't know.
Oh.
Aliens. I want to believe.
I want to be between those legs.
And Orlando Jones, I wish I could tell you.
I think this killed his career. I don't remember him in anything else or since then.
Yeah, he was in American Gods, and then they cut him out of that show.
Oh,
So
geez.
yeah, I think he's had a troubled career. I think he just has had a tough time like finding himself. He was on Mad TV for several years, and he was great on that. But and he's in Office Space. But other than that, yeah, his career has kind of been like all over the place. But why don't we just get right into it? So this movie starts
In space.
yeah, look, this movie was like a few years after Men in Black, and it shows. It's like I
Yeah.
have not seen such a ripoff of Men in Black since Men in Black 2. But this is just like so blatantly like it's like the same title sequence and everything.
It is, huh? They're like shot in the space, watch a meteor crash or a UFO crash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally just the opening sequence. But we get to see Sean William Scott. I will be referring to him as Stifler from here on out because I cannot remember what his character's name was, and his regular name is far too long. He's gonna have sex with a CPR dummy in the desert, I
No,
guess.
He's gonna save her from the fire that he starts.
Yeah, with his hose, apparently.
I
Um,
also I don't think that's a legit method of training for your fireman exams.
Probably
That
not.
kind of seems like it's just arson.
Yeah,
Which, if you're a fireman, you should know not to commit arson.
I mean, he's in the middle of the desert. What's gonna catch on fire, right?
Hey, those embers can travel with the wind, man.
Oh, that in the desert. Yeah, I guess that's true. Catch
I
those
do have a
cacti on
friend
fire.
who committed arson when he was like a high schooler, and he's a firefighter now. So maybe it works out.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
learned from his mistakes.
but I do like
Exactly.
this practice that he's doing because it's like, all right, you burnt this shack down, you can't practice again.
Right.
you literally destroyed your practice space at this point.
And it was the night before the exam, not like a week before. Like you should be practicing.
Yeah. He's like, I got to cram right now on how to rescue a dummy out of a
A sex
burning
doll.
building where it's right next to the front door. So there's literally no, like, it's not even a rescue. He just walks in. He's like, oh, yeah.
I just hate this whole plot line of fireman because it really plays into nothing until the end when they need a fire truck. And even then it's like, how did he even get it? He didn't pass his exams.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to need this. You're like, yeah,
I'll
sounds about
steal
right.
it. Like,
He pulled some strings,
no, he would have no strings to pull. He failed. Doctors aren't like, hey, sorry, I failed my boards, but can I still get one of those organs?
Can I get one of those
Can I
scalpels?
still come into that operating room? They're like, no, get out.
So, in apparently where the entire $80 million budget for this film went, I do have to say that this explosion that occurs with the meteor striking into his car and this building, this explosion is spectacular. It is like the greatest explosion in this film. It's the best sequence in this film, and we're like 2 minutes in. But God, his car is skyrocketed so high up in the air, and
Like
it's just
20
this
feet in the
huge-
air.
Yeah. Just this huge fireball. It's
Still
was already
drivable though.
yeah, I don't know
somehow.
how that's the case, and I know that's a good joke. That is one of the better like physical humor moments of this movie, but like that car doesn't drive anymore. Don't
Right.
fucking lie to me. So this is when we finally get to meet who our main characters are of this film. We appear on a college campus, which turns out is Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton. Shout out to my alma mater.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what to say.
Shout out to my almond butter.
Yeah, that's the shot is of the theater building, and I remember that building very well because I spent many days there.
It's
I don't think about it much. It's terrifying.
It's one of those. As soon as I saw the campus, and then you brought this up. Obviously, I didn't go to Cal State Fullerton, and Jarrett didn't either. And you brought this up, is that you're like, I think that's Cal State Fullerton. Is the instant I saw it, I was like, this is not a school in Arizona. That's
No.
all I could think of, though. Was like I couldn't place where it was. I was like, this isn't an Arizona like college. That's bullshit.
I feel like
I know
everything in
Southern
Arizona
California.
is painted that kind of like
Tan
brown
color.
pink.
Yeah.
I'm talking like Adobe.
Yeah.
Just, and turquoise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no passed out students, so it couldn't have been like ASU or anything like that. So I knew right off the bat.
Something about a trident.
So
Every ASU student's like, shut up, you don't know us.
like, at least we're not U of A.
Yeah.
Um,
They're Razorbacks.
so David Duchovny is the college professor that I strive to be someday, which is just like, I don't give a shit about grading your papers. So everyone got an A. Also, why is he only making $17,000 a year as a college professor?
That's like minimum
Times were
wage.
crazy in 2001. This is another thing that I really can't stand about this movie is the stupid, not even just like, oh, they're just kind of dumb, just like the literal should not even have been able to be accepted into college type of smarts.
Oh, well,
And
it's
he's
a
like,
community
"Yeah, you failed."
college.
Is it a
Even
community college?
then, I know community college people, and even then,
I mean,
come
look at me.
on. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to sit there and utterly be like, well, I failed chemistry, but like, can you just give me an A?
I do like that he gave them a C minus. And this is one of those movies where I'm like, I hate saying that I laughed.
Also, that
But-
guy was in Mad TV.
Ethan
Was
Suplee,
he? Yeah.
I think so.
the main fat guy.
My Name is Earl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost
My
positive
Name is
he was in
Earl.
Mad TV.
He's absolutely fucking ripped.
Oh, dude, he
now.
got shredded.
Does he have porn?
I'm
Maybe
telling
later.
anyone that's listening right now, and you're like, who? Look up Ethan Suplee. Like, My Name is Earl, and then look up Ethan Suplee. Like now, he shedded off all of that weight, and he is fucking massive.
What he
now.
lost, he gained in muscle.
Yes, he's
And it-
huge.
It's insane. It's like
I just-
it's goals, really.
I searched for Ethan Suplee and I got a lot of computer parts.
I do have to say, one thing I hate giving this type of movie is admitting that it made me laugh, but it made me laugh when they described why they got a C minus on their essay, which is it was about cells, and they wrote about how their uncle lives in a cell. It's 10 by 12.
It's classic.
Oh my
It's just
God.
it's so fucking stupid.
Oh, he's that intense kind of ripped too, where it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, you put
He-
in work. Good for him, you know?
Yeah.
Good for him. He did get like racist ripped. That's how I feel when I see it. I'm like, I'm scared of that guy now. I'm
Yeah.
scared of what he might call me.
Oh, he was in The Hunt. I still want to see that.
Oh
That
yeah.
movie, pretty good. I won't spoil it, but I promise you, he's not in the movie for very long.
Yeah. I love what's her butt from Glow.
Betty Gilpin,
Yes. God, she's a goddess.
she has a big old butt.
Yeah, she does. She's so hot. She's
Don't listen to this part, Carly. So anyway, yeah. So the two dumb fat guys get a C-. You would think you would never see them again, and lo and behold, they are like very important to this story.
Their redemption arc starts now.
Yeah, and so we're introduced to Orlando Jones, and he is going to get redemption in my eyes, but right now, I fucking hate this character.
Oh yeah. He's
there's
really putting himself in.
There's nothing to like about either of their two main characters that are men.
I'm gonna say it right now too. I was gonna bring this up a little bit later, but like, again, Men in Black, right? Think in the headspace of Men in Black.
Oh
and
yeah,
this
white
movie
guy,
is
black
very
guy.
Clearly, yes, white guy, black guy. Also, over the top black guy, with like, you know, Will Smith in Men in Black and everything like that, and like that. Basically, literally, Orlando Jones is just a step away from saying the Men in Black Will Smith line of "I make this look good." It's like he is that character.
That is true. He does play up his USGS role very well.
I have a curiosity of what this movie initially was going to be, because I would have liked it a lot more, because initially it was written as a thriller, like a sci-fi thriller.
I could have seen that.
And I would have enjoyed that.
It would have made more sense with Julianne Moore being cast in it if it was a sci-fi thriller.
I know. She's not a comedian.
I promise you, it was written as initially to be a sci-fi thriller, and then
no, it really was.
Men in Black did so well that they were like, "Okay, we're changing this."
What year did MIB come out?
Like 99 or some shit like that. 98. So I think this is totally cashing in on the like goofy aliens thing, because if you even look at the creature designs, they're pretty close to a lot of the Men in Black creature designs.
They cast David Duchovny and they cast Sean William Scott, and they were like, "We got to make it funny now."
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio turned us down. So
God, yeah, and then also David Duchovny turned down a role in Attack of the Clones to be in this. So I don't really know which would have been.
I saw something recently that said Attack of the Clones was actually the best Star Wars movie out there, which I was like,
yeah, there's a lot of dumb people out there.
Article?
Right? It is hard to say that there is a Star Wars movie out there worse than Episode 1, but I think Episode 2 might take the cake.
It might have been Episode 3, actually.
Episode 3 is really good for the last 45 minutes.
Yes.
Because like the other half of it, you're like, fuck this movie, man.
When's he going to turn?
Me, the entire prequel of those. We're not talking about Star Wars. Sorry, Sarah. Sorry, that's me.
I just like when he kills the kids.
ADDs.
So Orlando Jones is going to fuck this student, and you think she's going to come back in an important role, and guess what? She never does. She shows up in one more scene, and she is gone for the rest of this movie.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Is this another girl that was like, "I'd like an A"?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"Do college kids not do work anymore?"
Not at ASU.
Not at this one. Yeah, she wants to be Miss Arizona, but she's like doing biology or something.
She wants to be a nurse too, because she said that looks better as a
on a resume.
Miss Arizona thing. Yeah.
My favorite joke is that all of the mean girls from high school are now nurses that are secretly racist. Like, that's actually
not even true. It's not even a joke. It's just a fact.
Reality. Not a joke, just a fact.
Orlando Jones and David Duchovny, they drive out to go and see this meteor because Orlando Jones is an official USGS member from a fake website. And that's how we find out. And they're like, yeah, a meteor crash. She's like, oh, is that what that was?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that's all the explanation we need. Thank you, guys.
The amount of just stupid, like, I can't even put it into words. Like, they fake that they're from a thing, and then somehow that gives them government clearance for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
well, up until they get, with the military.
Yeah. Well, are they actually ever with them? No.
Well,
so think about it.
Into it, but David Duchovny's character was with the military in his previous,
but isn't, and never was again.
Yeah, but it gave them some repertoire with
not
the military.
In the initial parts when the government wasn't there.
That is true. That is true.
Well.
I will rip this movie to shreds.
Oh, I know you will.
When they go and they see the crater, Orlando Jones delivers a line with the same line delivery as when Jeff Goldblum says, "No, that's a lot of shit."
He goes, "Damn, that's a lot of butthole."
He's like, now that's a hole. It's like, all right.
The butthole jokes in this film.
There are so many butthole jokes in this movie. It's all the movie is butthole jokes.
And
Thank God there's no burping and farting.
Butthole. Like, but that's the thing is like burping and farting to me is hilarious. But as a gay man, and this is controversial, as a gay man, I don't like hole. I think it's horrible. I just I don't want to look at a butthole.
Welcome to Butts Away.
Yeah. But like it's disgusting. I don't care.
Welcome to a whole review with Bombs Away.
0 holes out of 5.
God, so they
hole's 1.
They descend into the hole, and initially, you guys, I have to say, I removed this off of my notes, but initially, I thought the fat cop down there was Cameron from Modern Family, but it's not him.
It'd be like
I literally wrote in my notes in all caps, Cameron from Modern Family, but it's not
we
him.
do get Phil from Modern Family.
Yeah,
he looks somehow older and younger than he does in Modern
really
Family.
Weird.
It's creepy.
It's his film debut.
Yeah, this is the first movie Ty Burrell was ever in, and apparently he's just always been Phil Dunphy.
Apparently,
that's all he's ever been. But they commit a large science sin right off the bat, and that's just start touching shit.
I cannot like crime scenes, science.
They went to the same. They went to the same science school that the crew of the Nostromo from Alien went to. Where they're like, "Yeah, just put your fucking hand in it." Like I don't get it. And the rock bleeds. That's what we get. The rock bleeds. They take the goo. And we're back. Now something I do want to say about this movie that I absolutely fucking hate is this movie suffers.
The movie entirely.
No. This movie suffers so much from location ADD.
Oh yeah.
This movie cannot stay in a location for more than 5 minutes.
Well, because it would have been too expensive to stay in the hole.
Yeah, that's what
I guess so. But this movie's like, okay, we went from outside of the crater, now we're in the crater. We were in the crater for a few minutes, now we're back to the school. Then we're gonna go to here. Then we're gonna go
now
to
we're back in the crater. Now we're at a mall. Like
so we look at the cells that they got from this goo, and we notice that they're splitting like
single
crazy.
Cell organisms.
Orlando Jones is like, all right, see you later. I'm gonna go coach volleyball.
Girls volleyball at that.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, cool. So then they just start talking a bunch of science shit, and basically David Duchovny's like, these are aliens that we found.
They're aliens, bro.
He said it like, these are aliens that we found. Don't you realize how exciting this is? Because that's what they are. They're aliens, man.
Why are you so good at David Duchovny?
I don't know. I actually just found that out today. But it's just kind of direct but monotone, but with a little bit of just David Duchovny.
Hey, what's going on?
But Orlando Jones says one of my favorite lines in the movie, which is,
I'm not Orlando Bloom. Sorry. I'm Orlando.
I'm not Legolas. He says, does the Nobel Prize pay in payments, or is it a lump sum like the lottery? And he's like, I'm just trying to figure out my tax situation. Just like this moment when he said that line, it was the turning point for him for the rest of the movie. I was like, all right, this guy's going to carry the humor for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because from here on out, he's like the comedic relief, and he delivers.
And he knocks it out of the park, though. He does do a really good job at being the comedic relief throughout this entire thing.
Oh, yeah. He's got to play off with David Duchovny's sort of like straight
dry humor.
Dry, yeah.
Not even dry humor, just dry.
Hey, so like anyone else always get David Duchovny and like Breckin Meyer mixed up?
Who's Breckin Meyer?
You know, the guy from Rat Race, and Road Trip and shit like that.
I know both of those movies, and I like it.
You don't know
Breckin Meyer's like the young version.
Yeah, I always, for the longest time, I was like, why is David Duchovny in Rat Race?
That's a you problem. I've never had them mixed up.
I don't know. I've always thought they were the same person for some reason.
That might just be because I grew up on X-Files with my family, and I
was too
definitely
scared
knew it
to watch
wasn't
X-Files.
Breckenmeyer.
I'm trying to look this up real quick. I don't know who that is.
He's
the main character of
Road Trip.
Road Trip.
Oh, Road Trip? I put in Rat Race.
He's in Rat Race too, but so while Peyton looks that up, this is when we get to see Stifler's fireman test, and he sucks, and that's it. That's all it is.
He wakes up late for it, and then
it is kind of funny that he's asleep standing there in front of it.
But he also does actually suck.
Oh, Breckenmeyer. Okay, yeah. He does look like a young David Duchovny.
See, you can understand why I get him mixed up.
He's in Freddy, the final something Nightmare.
Yep, he's in the last one.
Look at that.
So the teachers, Orlando Jones and David Duchovny, commit a crime, I'm assuming, which is taking students out on a field trip to an active geological investigation site that the cops are literally standing around.
Oh yeah.
And that girl wears open-toed shoes,
high heels.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I have never taken a college level science class that has not sent someone home for wearing open-toed shoes. Like every class that I've ever had, they're like, no open-toed shoes in this classroom. We're in a lab and it's dangerous. And this girl's like, I'm going to wear heels in this alien mist. This is when we see a bunch of gross little bad CGI slugs.
Flatworms.
Flatworms, because they're evolving very fast. Apparently, it's so funny to me. Apparently, they have the same evolutionary pattern as life on Earth, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Did you guys recently see that all of evolution eventually ends up as crab?
Does it?
Does it really?
It was within this past week or 2 weeks. Like things just kind of keep evolving into crab. Sorry, I just looked out the window and a branch broke off of my tree. It's super windy, and that scared me.
Hey, well, go pick up with your pincers.
I was like, no, but crabs, like eventually everything evolves into crabs because crabs are kind of a good, perfect life form to be. But it's like the same with lobsters. Like those things can live for decades.
I hope my crabs evolved to not live in my pubes.
My crabs were so evolved that they also had herpes. So that was pretty bad.
We see these flatworms are splitting in front of everyone, and they're like, whoa, they're splitting.
Damn,
blah, blah,
they're
blah.
doing the splits? What good drag queens.
And then Orlando Jones is like, no time for sex. And then the girl who you think is going to be important and never shows up again is like, oh, what a bummer. All right, anyway, let's go to the next scene.
Yeah, and then she somehow died. I think she was actually killed off or eaten by the aliens, and then they never dealt with her.
Okay, so to jump ahead to the end, she wins Miss Arizona.
Is there a post-credit scene?
No. At the end, she has a sash that says Miss Arizona on it.
I didn't even notice her again.
She's at the end.
Peyton is the president, treasurer, secretary, vice president, and active member of the Evolution Film Fan Club.
Right. Yeah, is this a cult movie? Because I think right now it's just a cult of one.
It's just... Have you guys heard the good word of Evolution 2001?
I haven't heard the good word, but I've heard the bad words.
We see what Stifler does for his job. He works at a country club. His job sucks. I would kill his boss if I was him. And he finds that there's worms coming out of the ground, and he finds a very weird fish.
Okay,
in the filtration system.
This is one of those things with the movie that's a big issue because, like you said, it has like scene ADD, but at the same time, that scene ADD isn't just showing us a bunch of scenes and jumping around quick. It also isn't showing us everything.
No, it's showing too little every time it jumps.
Like
too
he
much.
defeats the lake beast and brings it.
He doesn't even show us that.
No idea. And that's a whole you could do goofy comedy chase scene right there. How did he kill it? How? I know it was out of water or in air.
I think he mentions that it did just die.
Yeah, it's suffocated on land.
So yeah, that's basically it, and it's really just a setup that they're coming out of the ground.
That's spreading,
which is funny because they show that again later in the movie. It's like, so this scene was completely unnecessary because we already knew that was happening. They go back to the crater to do some searching, and Uncle Sam is here.
This is the part where I was like, nothing's been exciting.
This is the part where I'm like, all right, let's keep going.
It gets exciting because David Duchovny almost gets shot in the face by a soldier. It's unexplained to us why, but this soldier is just going to shoot him in the head, like in this thing, and he has to be torn away.
It's the boop boop beep doop. What's it called? The stupid name.
Cane Madness.
Cane Madness, yes.
Because in the next scene we'll get the like the court case where he's like he talks about his military experience, and we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, no, that's where we are. Ira knows everyone here. Apparently, there's only 3 people that work in the government as a whole, and everyone knows everyone. It's just like the entertainment world.
Yeah.
They make like a weird they said, oh, he's like, what? Did you tap my phones? And they're like, no, we're not the KGB. Tapped your computer. And then Orlando Jones makes a joke that I was like, yeah, that ain't it, Chief. When he's like, all those girls on there are over 18. It's like,
oh, that's creepy.
I was kind of like, yo, what is the joke here? Because that does not seem like it's the case.
Yeah, and this is the scene where we also established Julianne Moore, and it's established as like they knew each other, but they never had anything going on. Meanwhile, they're just gonna call her uppity, and like they were definitely 3 written lines away from just straight out calling her the V word for no reason. Like, they were close.
Yeah, she finally shows up and you think, thank God, Julianne Moore is here. Now the movie's going to improve. And then she falls and you're like, never mind. Her character is a klutz, and I hate it so much that according to the trivia of this film, that was her own character choice.
And that's what I'm saying. She's not a comedian.
That
and for her to be like,
so
I
mad.
think it's funny to be a klutz.
What made her choose
that? It makes me so mad. And then she falls, and Orlando Jones and David Duchovny go ahead and sexually harass her as she's laying on the floor.
Is that when they look directly up her skirt?
Like, she's wearing a garter belt.
Nice underwear or something like that.
I was like, yo, what the fuck? This movie's losing me.
Yeah. This is where I was like, this is for straight people. 100% for straight people.
I do like... I did think it was funny is that she's from the CDC and basically nobody listens to her, which is like, thank goodness we have always been consistent in not listening to the CDC.
Relative to today.
It's way bad. Yeah. Who would have known 20 years later, evolution would have predicted us not listening to the CDC as well.
Yeah. Then
I tell you, it's a good movie.
To you. Then we get, David Duchovny's like, I got some protocol for you. You can come and get it. But he's grabbing his dick. And I'm like,
yeah.
So you want him to get your dick?
Yes.
Are you gay? Because there were times in this movie where I was like, these people could easily be gay based on what they're saying.
Well, okay. So he says, do you want some protocol? And then when they're leaving, he says, here's a fruit basket for you. And just about
the fruit basket line. I was like,
he spreads his cheeks. That's not a regular moon. Like his butt crack is open.
That's an open moon. That's the moon I don't like to see.
Julianne Moore gets so horny for it.
Some boner comes out of her dress. Boner pops that garter belt.
We end up in court in this scene is so inconsequential. It's literally just there to set up that David Duchovny did an experiment against a bunch of soldiers' will for an anthrax vaccine.
And it's like a creepy amount of tension, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, just get to it.
And the worst side effect that they got is it gave them ED.
Yeah,
which is like, okay.
That's also, too, where David Duchovny's like, we deserve to be here. And I'm like, you don't deserve jack shit. You pretended to be a government entity.
You deserve to be in prison.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like, you deserve to go to jail.
Yeah.
You're lucky right now.
He got off pretty light on that one.
100%. Yeah. Well, he is white, though, so.
There you go.
They're like, if Orlando Jones would have done this.
Yeah, they're like,
actually, I think he makes a mention of that in one of the next scenes about when they sneak into the crater base.
Oh.
He's like, you're going to get a slap on the wrist. They hang people like me for this.
Yeah.
Wow, dark joke for this movie.
Yikes.
They come back to the campus and they see that their lab has been destroyed and all of their hard drives are stolen. literally just giving them a reason to go back to the crater. They sneak in. This is just like what Jared was saying, where they are literally just able to sneak in wherever they want.
Well, because I think he was a military person at least, so he still had like his uniform.
No, like
he pretends to be a general, which is kind of funny because he's like, "Hey, pick up that butt, soldier," when he like flicks that cigarette, and then Orlando Jones is like, "Yeah, and tuck in that shirt." It's just, I was like, "All right, this is again, he's like, back."
At first, I was watching it, and there are people that are watching the cameras of the site, and they say, "Oh, we've got some people going down in there." And the other person's like, "Oh yeah, it's probably like the R&D team, research and development. You know how those guys are." And for half a second, I was like, this movie just got worse by explaining away undocumented personnel doing shit.
Yeah,
and it pissed me off. But then they actually do go back and fix that.
I do have to say, when you see the facility covering the crater, it really puts into perspective that David Duchovny and Orlando Jones had no right laying claim to this thing.
None.
Because it's like a full-on research center.
Yeah,
they're playing
like,
Finders. Yeah, they're playing Finders Keepers basically, and that wasn't going to fly.
Now, Jared did mention that they go down into the crater, and I have to say the hardest laugh that this movie got out of me.
Oh no, this better not be what I'm about to complain about.
Is when Orlando Jones is
dancing
in the elevator.
Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay.
I was laughing so hard when he was dancing in the elevator.
I thought you were going to talk about Orlando Jones wanting to fuck an alien's ass. An insect alien ass. When he's like, "You see the butt on that? I'd like to put a tongue in it." Like,
so they see
it's almost what he says.
We see this alien ass, and he's like, "Hey, who does that remind you of?" And he's basically saying it reminds him of Julianne Moore, and I was like, "No, the fuck it doesn't."
Yeah, I was like, Julianne Moore is notoriously a twink.
Yeah, she has no ass. What are you saying?
No offense to her, she works it well, but there's no butt there.
I do want to give this movie one credit, which is that the production design down here in this cave is really cool.
Oh,
and
it's spectacular.
The creature design is really cool. It does look like Avatar land, but we see like a cat dog alien. We see these little crab aliens. They're all really cool.
The butt face and
the butt alien.
The face on both ends of
the cat dog alien.
That's the cat dog alien.
The cat dog. Oh yeah. Like, where does he poop out of?
That's the butt dick alien.
But again, to highlight this movie's problem with its sense of humor, they're talking about Julianne Moore, and again, I laughed because I was like, "This is just like so." Like inappropriate and like lame humor, but when Orlando Jones is like, all she needs is a good humping, and he's like humping the air, I was like, why am I laughing? I literally wrote in my notes, okay, I like Orlando Jones now.
And so like they also are stupid men. They don't realize their suits have microphones in them somehow.
Oh yeah,
and it's all getting
she hears all of it
to Julianne Moore, and she's like, "Well, this is kind of shitty." Like, could you imagine? Like, that's a hostile work environment, and those people don't even work there.
You know what's the worst part? Is it makes her horny.
Yeah,
because later in the movie we realize that she's like, "Oh God, I do need a good humping." Essentially, is what she says. So
I think she was tricked into this movie.
She probably was.
I honestly think she was either blackmailed or tricked into this movie, and she was like, "I'll make her klutzy. Maybe that's my way to reclaim this role." But that
did she come off of Hannibal right after this one?
Yes,
or right before.
And that is
so she wanted something light.
Yeah,
she's like, I don't want dark anymore.
And she was also in Lost World previously as well.
Oh yeah.
And she's good in that actually. So a mosquito bug gets into Orlando Jones's suit, goes under his skin. They take him to the hospital. This whole scene is funny.
How does an animal that big get under your skin? And it's just
Ask the scarab beetles in The Mummy.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's The Mummy, and that's more fun.
This is fun.
You just like The Mummy because it is like the gayest Brendan Fraser film because he's just so fucking hunky.
He's himbo.
Yeah, he is a himbo.
That's
in that
true.
movie.
Ultimate himbo. And then you've got What's Her Butt being beautiful next to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that movie puts me in turmoil. I'm like, who am I supposed to think is hot here? Because I'm confused.
Everyone's hot.
So, Yeah, Orlando Jones gets a large set of forceps shoved up his butt.
Well,
and...
first it's going in his leg.
Oh yeah, yes.
Which is
why didn't
we're gonna have to
he's like,
amputate the
so
leg.
mad.
He's like, don't take the leg, don't take the leg.
They're like, it's going to the testicles.
He's like, take the leg.
No.
But he gets these large pair of forceps up his butt. It's kind of funny, and then he says, "They're like, oh, you're doing so good, baby. Like, do you want anything?" He's like, ice cream. She's like, what flavor? And he's like, I don't care. It's for my ass. And it's like, that's how I felt after I had my colonoscopy. So I get it. I feel it. So now again, we jump to the country club again. There's like a Hawaiian party happening. And Jerry Trainer, Spencer from iCarly, is in this movie
Is
right
this his
now.
film debut?
Probably.
Is this
He's
the
like,
alien with the tongue that eats things, or is that the next scene?
That's the next one.
Okay.
Now, okay. This old guy's gonna go fuck on the golf course, and he spills champagne on his pants and his hands, so he goes to wash it in the gross ass
I know. I'm like,
that didn't make
that's
sense
not
at all.
washing your hands. That's making it worse. That's stagnant water. Now you have mosquito eggs all over your hands.
You're gonna put an amoeba inside that woman with those
Yeah.
hands. But
Ugh.
he's actually, I did giggle because he's actually down there humming the song they're making Whoopi as he's washing his hands. But he gets eaten, and it's horrifying.
Oh, like an alligator monster.
And the music is just like the music does not fit the scene at all whatsoever, and not even in like a funny way. It's just the score for the movie doesn't know how to be dramatic or scary, because this scene is horrifying, and it's just like the and he's just like dead. Okay, thanks, movie. I don't know how to feel about this guy dying now.
Right?
You just
You're supposed to laugh
in front of me, I guess. The woman that he was with runs inside, and she's like, "Something just ate so and so," and Stifler's just like, "Oh, that's too bad." Which is
Darn.
again, it's like,
Oh well.
damn it, I laughed. We're back at the crater, and somehow David Duchovny and Orlando Jones have not been arrested, and instead they're being like essentially asked to be collaborators on this entire thing.
Well, because they make a case like they were there initially, and they discovered that it evolves. The single cell organisms have been evolving.
That's that thing. They have no claim to that. Like,
But
They're going to manifest destiny. This crater.
Yeah.
We saw it first. And then this is when they introduce some weird romance between Julianne Moore and David Duchovny that is like absolutely not only is it not earned, it's not deserved. It's weird.
It was kind of hinted at earlier, but that was also like when the Professor Block or whatever his name is, he's like, "Oh, don't worry about that trial. She definitely wants to fuck you." And it's like, where did you get those hints from?
This is why men have such shitty perceptions
I
of
know,
when like
I
a
was like-
woman is affectionate to them.
Oh, don't worry. She wants to fuck, even though she just exposed that you were actually kind of a monster when it came to genetic testing and viral stuff.
She literally just laid out that you're a bioterrorist. I think she
know.
wants to fuck.
Which,
Nothing gets a girl hotter than an Al Qaeda one.
other thing about Kane Madness, I thought, oh, that'll come back and that'll be what kills the aliens. That was pointless.
No.
No, it did come back.
Did
They
it?
came back for the worst joke in the movie that we will talk
Yeah,
about.
but
at
it
the
had
end.
no plot.
Oh,
derivative.
yeah.
No. So they get back to the school. Stifler's like, "Hey, I got this creature." And they're like, "Oh, fuck." So then, again, that ADD, though, this movie cannot focus on a scene.
The
Look at
guy's
this
like,
old-
damn, it's got a butt. Could we put a penis in it?
I'm going to take this for research. Check the elasticity. We go to this old lady's house. There's slugs in the old lady's house. Turns out there's an alien in her closet. One thing that sucks about this movie is there is a lot of different creatures, and you see them once and you never see them again.
Yeah.
Like this old man alien that's in the closet.
Little
at
poor
the-
dog.
With the
turkey
tongue?
from
That's the turkey
Thanksgiving?
from... Yes, Thanksgiving! That's exactly what I thought. That's why I was like, when is this one coming up? Because that's just
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it's like, "Go, go, motherfucker." Grabs her hand.
Who was that? Was that Phyllis from
No,
The
just an
Office?
old lady.
It was
Some
no, it
old
was
white
no one
woman.
from anything.
It's
There
okay.
was-
I'm glad you made a similar mistake I did. I mean, I did
Yeah.
think Cameron from Modern Family was in this movie. He's just a fat white guy.
Darn.
Then we progress to a scene in a hotel, which doesn't fucking matter. Nothing happens. Then we go to a diner where we learn that Sarah Silverman used to date David Duchovny. Again, a scene that doesn't fucking matter. All we hear is that there's been another alien attack back at the old lady house.
This is like that scene in Rent where Sarah Silverman shows up as like a producer or something and then never has any other thing in it. Whereas like, what was Sarah Silverman doing in the early mid 2000s?
Anything
Like,
she
just-
could.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Just getting her name out there.
grasping at straws.
Well,
She's like, someday I'm going to be a character in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
And then you'll all see.
I'll have my own stand-up show.
Ugh.
At this point, anytime Sean William Scott, I keep wanting to calling him like Sean Ashton Scott, where I'm like, no, that's two people, right? But so I don't think he's ever acting. I
this
think
is what
he's
he
just
plays in
himself.
everything. This is the character he plays in literally every movie he's been in. He is just Stifler.
Well, he was hot for late 90s, and then we were like, well, maybe we
Well,
oughta
what's crazy
rethink
is-
that.
Okay, I don't, because if you look at him now, right, he's really buff. And he's pretty buff in this movie. But like as Stifler, he's not. So I'm like, when did he make the character decision? Like, I'm gonna be really dumb, but also super fucking shredded. Because he's got huge arms, man.
I think he did that in what's that rock movie he was in? Walk Tall? No.
Oh fuck, that's right.
Something.
Wow, Walk Hard.
Peyton, you are
Well-
able to pull the fucking wildest like.
It's because
rock
I
movie
love
reference.
that movie too. So
Oh no! Well, look
the
forward to
rundown.
that.
The rundown.
You're talking about the one with the rock, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I know what you're talking about. But maybe we'll do an episode on it because I'm sure it's not good.
Jeez.
So they go to the crime scene. They find the old man alien. Then, oh, what do you know? Right behind, they find a bunch of dead dinosaurs.
Yeah, with wings.
Which are the only practical alien effect in this whole movie. Those dead dinosaurs on the ground.
That's for the $80,000.
For
$80
a
million.
second, I was like, they're not going to show us dinosaur dick or vagina, but we're seeing dinosaur butts out the wazoo. But
They
then I
don't
also
have-
remembered they reproduce asexually, so I'm like, I kind of give them that one.
I wish they
Interesting.
could shit asexually, so I don't have to see their butt.
I know.
Yeah. Then the alien proceeds to throw up. Sean William Scott says, "Oh, it's like a big loogie."
Loogie.
And then that's when we learn that they, one, are using the tunnel system under the city to get around, and two, they can now survive in our atmosphere. They've evolved to that point.
This is just a really bad version of Us.
Oh my god,
And I've never seen Us.
I love
But I
Us
know.
so much.
I know that part.
We proceed. Well, it could also be Chud. You know,
it
like
could
they're-
be
Oh,
Chud,
yeah.
but Chud's good.
I love Chud so much.
So
But this
good.
movie's good too. It's fun.
Peyton, keep your thoughts to yourself.
Peyton will not let us say this movie's bad. He loves
I'll
it.
scream it.
I get it that there's like some like very sketchy
Some?
jokes. There's
Some?
several sketchy jokes, but
I think my favorite thing to think about now is like, let's think of time, right? And let's think that we are living in like a fifth dimension time where all time is existing on top of itself. I imagine right now Peyton is also still standing on that dance floor watching this movie silently.
Yes.
Thinking, I can't wait to talk
Who
about
knew-
how good this movie is.
Children dancing around him on a basketball court, but he's looking up.
He's like,
who knew
"Ah,
that
this
I would
movie's so
actually go to
good."
Cal State Fullerton and do a podcast on this movie?
Yeah.
So this is when we go to a mall. This shoplifter dies. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Well-
The giant winged monster that we saw fly away a second ago crashes in here and catches her.
They're in like a Macy's. So for some reason, like, well, actually, like in that time, they would sell guns in stores. They probably still do. It's Arizona.
It's Arizona.
Well, it's a mall. They take the guns from a mall.
No,
store.
but they're in that. Because
Are
I
they
thought
in
the
that
same thing.
Macy's?
They're in that. It's not an actual Macy's, but it's like that department store. Because then they leave that department store to go into the rest of the mall, where no one else got the memo that there's like shooting and explosions and
Oh, yeah, 'cause-
dinosaurs all around. Everyone's just like, well, I guess I'll make my way over to Annie Ann's.
The only time people are running is because they just heard that there's a sale on Funko Pops at the Hot Topic. Yeah, no one's
They're
actually
like,
very.
I gotta get to
scared.
Spencer's to get my laser light projection.
I gotta go to Spencer's to buy a novelty dildo.
Yeah. The
Sean
puzzle
William Scott
store.
sings "You Are So Beautiful" in the cringiest moment that this movie has, and the alien turns around, they shoot it, it's dead.
This movie
and
saw
they get
Scream
really
2, and they
cocky.
were like, what if we put a romantic song singing from a dumb, buff white guy in it?
It's so dumb, but
So
they kill
horrible.
the monster, and they're really cocky. They're like, "Yeah, we did it! Woo!"
A good
Anyway,
anti-shoplifting PSA. I won't do it
yeah.
again. I swear. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had machines that were giant birds that would kill me.
Do you know what is funny about this, though, when you think about it, is this was the time when shoplifting was like a really big thing. And there was all those PSAs about like not shoplifting. I think this was around the time that Winona Ryder got caught shoplifting.
Oh, really?
I guess it was a big
This
thing.
is also when the movie reasserts that Native Americans will never get anything from the America people, where they just have a Native American display in a mall and then destroy it. And they're like, yep, that's what we did. Here's your
I
pox
told you.
blankets.
The theme of this movie is Manifest Destiny. We saw it first, we get it. In a movie that has a scene where people talk about a alien with a fat ass that they want to have sex with, would you believe it? The most what the fuck moment is that Dan Aykroyd just happens to show up in this movie.
And they hand him a large printed map. They're like, here's what's happening. And he's like, I don't know how to read this. And then they put it on TV and he's like, now I know what's happening.
Yes.
The TV is worse of an explanation because it's half the size.
They basically just explained to him that it is going to get out of hand and the whole United States will be taken over in less than a month if they don't get a handle on it right now. The government is like, we're going to put the Tet Defensive on them. We're going to napalm it.
Oh,
and it's like,
geez.
okay, I guess you probably have a lot left over. Then they consider nuking them. But the reason I'm just glancing through this is because it's not that important. And honest to God, the most terrifying fucking thing happens in this next movie. And that's when we are introduced to the fact that there are primate aliens now.
Oh, that
and they
thing
are
was
the
awesome.
scariest fucking things I have ever
Terrifying.
seen.
Those little blue apes that jump out.
They're
Oh,
not
man,
little.
No, they're huge. And they have
huge
long
blue apes.
arms. They are really scary. And they knock out the cameras. And Dan Aykroyd says, "What the fuzzy no-nose chimp?" What?
This movie also has several instances of making up words to be funny, and they don't land. I can't even recall any of them, but I know watching it and being like, once again, you're making up a word for a laugh, but it's not a real word, and it's not even a funny like play on words.
I think Orlando Jones says like, look at those badungas or something like that.
Yeah. It's like,
Or
it's
like
so
just say
stupid.
boingos. I don't know. What's that? I was like, I don't know boob code words.
Then we have this big monkey attack, and then they like kill the monkeys or they get away. But one of the things that I think is really funny is we are gonna discover why the napalm is a bad idea in like a few minutes. But it cracks me up is they just saw that these aliens pose a real threat to human life, and Orlando Jones and David Duchovny and Julianne Moore are still like, no,
Could we put something up its butt?
No, they're like, we can't kill it. It's like, are you guys fucking
There's no
morons?
time.
Like, we have literally just shown you that they kill. Why are you saying we should defend them and save them?
They
Save the
start
dinosaurs.
Peyton,
So
Peyton, go ahead. Defend it.
Just save the dinosaurs. Jurassic Park them.
Yeah.
Put them on an island and they can just hang out there.
Would be horrible.
Those monkey things on an island? Fuck that, man.
They
That
get
needs to
like
be
seaborne eventually. It just spread everywhere.
Then it would be Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
They
perfect.
so they're evacuating neighborhoods, and my only thought, like I know they weren't playing the music in the neighborhoods while they evacuated, but the movie was like, this is a perfect time to play some heavy metal music during an evacuation
Rob
sequence.
Zombie
I
music.
was like, this would make me more stressed than evacuating my household.
Evacuate.
The witches are there.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
I was like,
And then
it's a bit aggressive.
And it's funny because, again, you look at this movie 20 years ago and you say, why the fuck are these people having a party in the middle of an evacuation? How stupid of us to think that people wouldn't act like
I
that.
know. Look at
Weird.
Florida right now.
They're having a good time, man.
Oh, must be nice.
I'll
This is
rant
where they
about that off mic.
This is where they discover that the aliens mutate with fire.
Was it that they mutated or that fire made them
makes them
evolve?
grow, essentially.
It makes them evolve in a different path.
Because, well, you think
like they
about
adapt
it.
to it.
No, you think about it in a science way where oxygen kills them, but a fire removes oxygen because it burns oxygen out of the air. So fires are fueled by oxygen. And so that's why it had such rapid growth, because it was taking the oxygen out of the way for the alien to mutate. Hello, I got a degree in chemistry.
Giving this movie,
I gave it too much credit.
Yeah,
I did. But that's actually that's my science brain being like, all right, well, if they don't like oxygen, something's destroying oxygen, so it's going to thrive on that. What I didn't agree with was the stupid periodic table where he's like,
I was just going to say, they show Julianne Moore wearing a periodic table of elements shirt purely just so they can go, take your shirt off. Yeah. That's it. That's all it was.
She doesn't, thank God. She's like,
the two fat morons are here now. And when they say that, they're like, nice.
Well, but the whole, so what, carbon is what makes us.
Right.
Is what David Duchovny says, and he goes down to 3 and go over 1. So they're made of this, and I'm like, all right, arsenic's not the only thing on that table that kills us. A lot of things on that table, and a lot of amounts would kill all of us. So
we're carbon life base for it, and I heard that cars could kill us. So what if we fly an airplane into the aliens?
It's a
weird pattern. It's sort of Ex Machina kind of.
No, it really is, and this is when they come to learn that there is an ingredient.
I thought, Peyton, you were trying to equate this movie to Ex Machina, the movie.
And
I was like, no.
Listen, I love this movie, but not that much.
It's a god complex. I get it now.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we need this element, and then those two fat morons are like, oh, that's in Head and Shoulders.
See how our hair is nice and flaky free?
Yeah. And then they also, Peyton, you dropped that little bit of knowledge that you found out about Head and Shoulders at the time.
Oh, that there was no Head and Shoulders that had the saline site, whatever the chemical is, but they used this movie to launch that product with that element in it now.
And I believe what it ended up being is this is the introduction of Head and Shoulders medicated.
Oh, is it really?
Yes. And that's what came after this. And then, hey, wouldn't you believe it? This is not even a plug for Head and Shoulders in this movie. This is them making fun of that Head and Shoulders was so prevalent at the time. That's it. It's the stupidest fucking thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. And they Head and Shoulders basically just took advantage of the situation. Like, hey, might as well.
So Julianne Moore says something right here to David Duchovny where she's like, they're sitting out, getting ready to, they get all of the Head and Shoulders in the world apparently and fill up a fire truck with it because that's apparently all they need. And before they go and pump it into the aliens, Julianne Moore tells David Duchovny, I would have rocked your world.
She's like, just so you know, I would have rocked your world.
And it's like,
slightly Boston.
No time to be horny right now. This is the wrong moment.
There's a giant tentacle monster roaming around Arizona. We got some bigger problems before your horniness.
Yeah, and I will say it. I have seen Don John with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Julianne Moore, and she probably would have rocked David Duchovny's world if it's anything like she was like in that movie. But this is not the time, Julianne Moore. This is not the time. Nor is it the time later in the movie when we see this.
No time for this at all.
Fuller getting his I know where we can get a fire truck, and then gets a fire truck. A scene I would have liked to have seen just because I wanted explained.
Now, the literally after she says, I would have rocked your world, one of the next lines in sequence is pump the slime, which I think is a very nice juxtaposition of on the script there. And then while they're in the tunnel, the napalm just goes off. They just decide to do it early in the most realistic moment of this movie. They're just like, Yeah, we're a little early. Go for it.
It's real.
What if the movie just ended right here?
I would have liked it because I really don't think humans can outrun napalm, but somehow they did.
They just blow up and they all die in the cave, and that's it. Like it's solved. They're done.
The
credits are their dead
wasn't the
bodies.
issue. It was the cigarette you tossed into the.
Yeah. So this creates a gigantic blob monster. And everyone's like, fuck, what's happening?
And an even bigger butthole joke.
And balls joke. Not like Sean William Scott gets like smacked in the face with a pair of balls from the underside of the blob monster. Yes. Then, what do you know? It has a giant asshole on it. And they're like, looks like, okay, they are miles away. You cannot see them through those binoculars.
No, there's no way.
He's like, what are they doing? He's like, looks like they're gonna give it a jumbo enema. This scene made me sick to my stomach, you guys. This is fucking vile. Peyton, I would like to hear you defend what happens in the next few minutes of this movie because it's gross.
We're talking about when they go, they inject the Head and Shoulders up the butt.
Yes, and then Orlando Jones gets sucked into the butthole.
He's like, I can't. Oh.
See, I knew Peyton would just laugh because he thinks it's so funny. It's so gross. There's like doo-doo liquid like leaking out on everyone as he's
the Head and Shoulders. It's not.
Oh no, it's all
liquid.
brown, dude.
Head and Shoulders is brown.
No, what?
That you put in, it's like a copper color.
No, it's white.
It's either white or like blue, depending on. It's always like a pale color, but
That's
never
dookie,
brown.
Homie.
The Head and Shoulders I saw them put in the fire truck was like this copper.
Oh,
color.
that's right. It was like a goopy. You are right.
Maybe that was like Selsum blue.
I think they were just putting oil, honestly, because it doesn't flow quite well. But yeah, you're right. I think it's still dookie residue, to be completely honest.
We can go with that.
Like, have you ever been really sick and you swallow too much like phlegm and you poop and it's like dookie mucus?
I mean,
was that too gross for everyone listening? But that's
like,
I
think we just lost a bunch of
your
followers.
butt does produce mucus. Like,
no, I know, but like dookie mucus, man, that's what it looks like. And then Orlando Jones gets sucked into the butt, and again he continues to carry the comedic moments of this movie because when he comes out, he's like, "Don't tell anyone. You don't know what I saw in there."
I feel like if you were sucked into a butt fully, that would have crushed you, and you wouldn't be able to be on the inside of it. Like, it's disgusting up here.
Depends on how big the cavity is.
I would have been crushed if I was taken out of it. Unfortunately, crushed emotionally.
It was so nice in there.
So these big goo globs start falling because the monster explodes, and if you were to get hit with any of those, you would be dead.
Oh, this is when the monster exploded into poorly formed CGI split piece soup.
Yes. And everyone gets hit with them, but I'm like, you're dead. Those things probably weighed like 100 pounds. You're crushed.
Well, I don't get why it had to be that green.
Because
like,
why
the
not?
monster is like
brown,
pale
flesh color thing.
I think it's supposed to be like pus.
What kind of pus do you have?
You've never had green pus? It's gross.
Yeah. So this is when it's like, hey, everything's resolved now. You guys are heroes. So Dan Aykroyd starts introducing everyone. He's like,
this is the end of the movie.
Yeah. He's like, this is Stifler. He's now a real firefighter because I said so. It's like, I would feel so bad for anyone who has to be rescued by this man.
Also, Dan Aykroyd is in Arizona wearing a fur coat, by the way. A full fur coat, like floor-length full coat this entire time.
This is also the only scene that actually takes place in Arizona.
Is it really?
Those who are wondering. But yeah, he's like, this guy does it. And then he's like, and this, Orlando Jones, he's a geologist and a hero.
And coaches a volleyball team.
Yeah, the best women's Division III volleyball team in Arizona. And then Orlando Jones again, comedic genius, is like, thank you guys. Give it up for God, because through him, all things are possible. Which is like, okay, let's get a little analytical here. The movie's called Evolution. Yeah. And it took a man who believes in God to stop the evolution. So what are we saying here, movie? Are we saying that evolution isn't real and God will stop it? I don't know. Something to think about. But then our real heroes decide now's the time to fuck.
Yep. The runoff and
she's like, I think I got that Kane madness.
No, he says, where did they go? Dan Aykroyd says, oh, where did they go? And Orlando Jones says, I think he's given her the Kane madness.
The Kane is his penis.
That's what he actually did to those soldiers. It's a lot worse.
Rape.
That's how he had to pass the vaccination to them.
He's like, I gotta put it in your butt with my dick.
And then we get a Head and Shoulders commercial.
Classic.
Why did that classic? This movie's like, what if we ended on a complete joke like the rest of this movie?
It also ends with a 3-eyed smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is just from the poster.
Doesn't have anything to do with the movie. It's capitalizing on the times of everyone during that time loved the smiley face. And this is the classic smiley face, not even emoji.
Do you know what I think, honestly, that, to be completely honest, what I think that is one, they're talking about in the commercial is kind of funny for one reason, is like, oh, now they're doing commercials for Head and Shoulders. But two, I don't think they wiped out all the aliens. I think that's what the movie is suggesting at the end, because there's like nothing stops the oncoming alien invasion like Head and Shoulders, right? And then they show that image and I'm like, okay, this was made by the guy who made Ghostbusters. They're trying to make a recognizable icon to go with fighting the aliens, but unfortunately this movie only made $30 million at the box office, so I don't think...
And a cartoon series.
They did have the cartoon series.
So
we all have our regrets.
To carry on what you're saying there is that I do think there's more, because that in the beginning the asteroid does like break up in the atmosphere, and so there's got to be hundreds of other crater sites with this evolution thing going on. So there's
I'm
be
sure
more.
they were gonna make another movie, and then they didn't.
Evolution
we
2
don't have the star quality to do this again.
David Duchovny's like, yeah, I heard in 12 years they're going to bring X-Files back. I'm busy.
I've got some stuff to do.
Orlando Jones like, anytime you need me, I'm here.
Julianne Moore is like, I'm going to
wrecked me, so...
Yeah, Julianne Moore's like, I've got whatever it is I'm going to do coming up.
Hannibal to go film.
So that was Evolution. Peyton, as the procurer of this film, this brings us to our Jaws scale. Peyton, go ahead and go first. I already know what you're going to say.
You know it. Jaws 1. I enjoy it so much. I know that, I mean, looking back on it and kind of dissecting it, there are a lot of jokes that are not kosher for today or never have been, but I just enjoy it.
It's always getting choked up.
Yeah, sitting there on that dance floor, watching the movie. But it's just fun. The creatures are unique and kind of just like this, and the whole idea of like evolution just kind of adds that cool sci-fi element to it, and just it's funny, it's hilarious. Orlando Jones just knocks it out of the park. I do love David Duchovny. He might be a pretty dry actor, but I do enjoy his stuff. So I mean, I'll watch this 100 times.
Damn. All right. Well, Jarrett, I already know what you're going to say.
Me too.
Go ahead.
The Thing is what this movie wanted to be.
Be the Thing, or
wait? Do you mean The Thing?
Like the movie?
Thing.
John Carpenter's
not Richard Carpenter. John Carpenter's
to be
this
movie.
No, whoop, backwards. No, I said The Thing is what this movie wanted to be.
No, you said.
Did I not?
I think you said it backwards. I was like, this movie wanted the Thing wanted to be this movie.
I said The Thing is what this movie wanted to be. I'm almost
yes.
right.
I get what you're saying now. I get it. It just made me laugh at first. I was like, huh?
And I think they might have realized that halfway through the script, and that's why they didn't go with the horror aspect of it or thriller aspect, is because they were like, this has already been done.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I will say the monsters are pretty cool and neat at parts, but it's a Jaws 3.
Oh, okay.
I do enjoy Jaws 3 too.
Give it a 4. I really thought you were
there are redeeming visuals, but like this movie. It's a big butt.
I was prepared for a Jaws 4.
I feel like if the comedy could evolve, the movie could be a lot better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As for me, I think I guess it's going to be across the board here. I think I'm going to give it a 2. I laughed too much and actually did enjoy watching it too much to say anything lower than that.
Straight.
Like I said, Orlando
derogatory.
Orlando Jones dancing in that elevator was the highlight of the whole movie for me. I really laughed at that very hard. So I'm going to give it a 2. I enjoy it. This was my first time seeing this movie since it came out.
Really?
Yeah. And it definitely, I still remember it the same way. I'm like, yeah, I remember all this. I can remember the stuff that was in the trailer too.
See, it's memorable.
Like the scene when Orlando Jones
memorable doesn't mean good.
Depends on how you look at it.
Pearl Harbor was memorable, but that definitely wasn't good. Not the movie, the actual thing. When Orlando Jones says, "Oh no, I've seen this movie," and the black guy dies first. That I remember that from the trailers. Yep. So I remember a lot of this movie. So yeah, 2 for me. I had a good enough time. Anyone else? You want your final thoughts, Jarrett? You want to change your mind?
Oh God, no.
I think so. Awesome. Nah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us and listening to us talk about Evolution from 2001. We had a great time watching it, and we hope you had a great time listening to us ramble and make fun of a really fun movie for all of us. Join us in 2 weeks for my pick for a bad movie that I love, which is Rocket Man, not the Elton John one. The Disney film that they do not want you to see because it is not on Disney Plus and it's not streaming anywhere for free. From 1997, starring Harland Williams, about a bumbling idiot who gets to go to space. So prepare for a lot of fart jokes.
Every time I forget what movie that is, and then I'm reminded I have seen it multiple times.
It's so bad, but I love this movie. So yes, join us in 2 weeks for Rocket Man. And then after that's going to be our first Bargain Bonanza, which I'm really excited about, which is going to be Disney Channel original movies. So stick around for that and everything like that. If you enjoyed the show, always make sure to subscribe. Hit us up on Instagram at Bombs Away Show. Leave reviews, everything like that. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you guys again. Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Bye.